It was supposed to be a night of celebration, a milestone where life's chaos gave way to joy. But what began as a birthday weekend for Jacksonville rapper Foolio quickly spiraled into a nightmare. The Florida night was thick with heat, clinging to the skin. Foolio, just 26, sat behind the wheel of a black car in a parking lot, hours after performing at a local club. Friends surrounded him, laughter and conversation filling the air. None of them knew these would be the final moments of normalcy they'd ever share.
Jury selection is officially underway in the sex-trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Chloe Melas was in federal court today, and Chloe, no jurors selected, but a pretty revealing start to the 8-week trial.
Lester, that's right. It was an illuminating first day of court. Combs entered the courtroom wearing a crew-neck sweater and a white button-down shirt. He had some gray in his hair and in his goatee. And at one point, he told the judge that he needed to use the bathroom and that he was feeling a little bit nervous. Now, also, several celebrities were named today, although they haven't been accused of any wrongdoing. They might be mentioned during the course of the trial. Their names are Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, Kanye West, and his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who has accused him of years of physical and emotional abuse. And she is expected to testify during the trial. Now, Combs has vehemently denied all of the allegations against him. I also want to point out that celebrity attorney Mark Garagos, he was present in the courtroom. His daughter is Tenny Garagos, one of the lead attorneys for Combs throughout this trial. Now, a source telling NBC News that he hasn't joined the team, but he is advising on jury selection.
The parking lot was eerily silent, save for the hum of streetlights and the shuffle of hotel guests. But in the shadows, 3 masked figures lurked, moving with chilling precision. Surveillance footage would later show them, dressed in black, methodically tracking Foolio from the nightclub to the hotel. No panic, no rush, just predators waiting to strike, and strike they did. In under 20 seconds, over 40 rounds shattered the night. Glass burst, metal crumpled, screams echoed. Foolio lay lifeless in the driver's seat. His friends survived, wounded and traumatized. This wasn't random. It was a calculated ambush, tied to the bloody KTA versus ATK feud that had already claimed dozens of lives. Foolio, a key KTA figure, often provoked rivals through music. But this attack? It was brazen, merciless, personal.
Person who wouldn't have been coerced into sex by Combs. The judge, however, disagreed and said that strong women can also be coerced.
All right, now let's get into what's going on with this Diddy trial, because there are some new things coming out as they're in the courtroom. And one thing that Diddy's defense team is leaning in on is saying that, yes, Diddy was abusive toward his ex Cassie, but they're also saying that she was no angel and allegedly got violent with him as well. It's day 4 of the Diddy trial, and the prosecutor and Diddy's attorney had a very interesting exchange with the judge. It kicked off with Johnson telling the judge that the victim one, who they believe is Cassie, will not be cross-examined about certain medical issues. But that's when Diddy's attorney said the defense is going to take the position there was mutual violence in their relationship, hitting on both sides, DV, domestic violence. He said, we are absolutely going to admit to domestic violence, but at what point does it become coercive? And that's when the judge clarified, saying, you're arguing that they are just violent. And he said, right, we are saying that it's relevant. They also said they're submitting a letter to the court on the topic, and they're going to offer 2 cell phone videos and the corrected CNN footage of that infamous tape where you saw Diddy beating Cassie up at the Intercontinental Hotel in LA. If you recall, Diddy's team have been saying that tape was doctored, there was more to it, and so I guess they have the full video. They are claiming that they're planning to.
As the dust settled and news of the shooting spread, Florida prosecutors made a stunning announcement. They would seek the death penalty for 3 suspects in Foolio's murder. It was a bold stance, part of a larger effort to crack down on escalating gang violence across the state. The details of the investigation were staggering. Using surveillance footage, cell phone data, and digital trails, authorities meticulously reconstructed the hours leading up to the ambush the suspects had allegedly followed Foolio across multiple locations, coordinating the attack with chilling precision. Even more disturbing was the discovery of a photo on one suspect's phone, showing a bottle of Don Julio, mocking Foolio's legacy, taken just hours after the killing. Whether a trophy or a taunt, the message was unmistakable. This was personal.
When I looked at that thing, to be honest, I thought that the people who was watching it Because you know at those hotels, they have security personnel that watch that stuff. And if they didn't call the police, they should be in jail. I don't care what nobody say. You know, whoever watched that tape and didn't submit that to the authorities, they should be brought up on charges.
Why do you think the video is barely coming out right now? Because you got a lot of people, you know, that's wondering why it took so long.
First of all, they know that Puff probably paid the security personnel because he knew it was on camera. When he made it to the hallway, when she made it to that phone, once that phone picked up, that's going straight to security. That's for emergency purposes only. So either the concierge or somebody that's handling emergency type situations when she picked up that phone. So now, Puff probably had somebody pay them off. 9 times out of 10, he had somebody pay them off, bruh.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, and go into rehab. I had to ask God for His mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
As the dust settled and news of the shooting spread, Florida prosecutors made a stunning announcement. They would seek the death penalty for 3 suspects in Foolio's murder. It was a bold stance, part of a larger effort to crack down on escalating gang violence across the state. The details of the investigation were staggering. Using surveillance footage, cell phone data, and digital trails, authorities meticulously reconstructed the hours leading up to the ambush the suspects had allegedly followed Foolio across multiple locations, coordinating the attack with chilling precision. Even more disturbing was the discovery of a photo on one suspect's phone, showing a bottle of Don Julio, mocking Foolio's legacy, taken just hours after the killing. Whether a trophy or a taunt, the message was unmistakable. This was personal.
Let's talk about the showdown in the courtroom over the bombshell video allegedly showing Sean Diddy Combs beating his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura.
Diddy's lawyers are arguing to exclude the footage from the rapper's upcoming sex trafficking trial. Legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer joins us now with more on what this could mean for the high-profile case. So good to have you. Okay, so they want this video left out. What's their argument for this?
So, Mark Agnifilo, Sean Combs' attorney, is arguing that you probably hear this phrase, this is not a true and accurate representation of what the video depicts. He's saying a number of arguments that the CNN had taken this video and sped it up, they kind of chopped it up into this montage, and it's not accurate. He's also making the allegation that the original video no longer exists, and so because this isn't accurate, the jury shouldn't see it, and according to Diddy's attorneys, because the original doesn't exist or it's been tampered with, no video such as this should be presented to the jury.
So what is CNN saying about these claims?
So CNN has come out and said, we did not alter it, we did not change anything, and in fact they're saying that they do have the original as well. So on multiple levels, Sean Combs' argument kind of falls flat, because if it is sped up, and I think there is some degree of it's being sped up, if the original still exists, that can still be used as evidence against Sean Combs, not necessarily to the allegations of trafficking, RICO conspiracy, or the transportational purpose of prosecution, but to show that this is a force that was used to keep victim number 1, who we believe to be Cassie in this video, under his control for the purpose of trafficking and this RICO conspiracy.
All right, Cassie, she plans to testify against Diddy at the trial, and she's going to use her name. So a lot of the women who have accused Diddy are anonymous. They're Jane Doe or Victim 1.
Or John Does.
Or John Does. But Cassie allegedly, apparently, is going to take the stand and talk about her. Obviously, that tape of him beating her up at the hotel is what set off this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, this has just made it matters so bad for Diddy. So now that she is going to sit up there and like look him square in the eyes and talk about her side of the story, that's not great for Diddy, obviously.
No, and like I think also Cassie is a celebrity, right? Like millennials know who she was or is. She had like a booming career back in the day. So I think it also adds some extra zhuzh when you have like a well-known public figure coming forward.
Trusted
and beloved too. So I think that also will hurt him. She of course became public. All of this went public when that video came out from CNN. So it's been revealed who she is already, and now she is not looking to conceal her name. She wants to, put it all out on the table. And yeah, yikes, it could be really bad for him.
Inside the courtroom, report that Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson read out loud the text that Diddy reportedly sent to Cassie Ventura after an altercation in a hotel in 2016. She references security video of the event that went public, showing Diddy hitting his then-girlfriend in a hotel hallway.
As the dust settled and news of the shooting spread, Florida prosecutors made a stunning announcement. They would seek the death penalty for 3 suspects in Foolio's murder. It was a bold stance, part of a larger effort to crack down on escalating gang violence across the state. The details of the investigation were staggering. Using surveillance footage, cell phone data, and digital trails, authorities meticulously reconstructed the hours leading up to the ambush the suspects had allegedly followed Foolio across multiple locations, coordinating the attack with chilling precision. Even more disturbing was the discovery of a photo on one suspect's phone, showing a bottle of Don Julio, mocking Foolio's legacy, taken just hours after the killing. Whether a trophy or a taunt, the message was unmistakable. This was personal.
Source.
Combs wants that video or videos excluded from trial, and for that, we turn to his motion in limine to exclude video footage of that March 5th, 2016 incident. Motion in limine is a pretrial motion that aims at preventing evidence from coming into trial or limiting it in some way. And it starts by saying, quote, "There is no longer any dispute that the CNN footage from March 5th, 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel offered by the government at 3 separate bail hearings is wholly inaccurate, having been altered, manipulated, sped up, and edited to be out of sequence. As indicated below, CNN paid Redacted, don't know who this person is, Redacted, for footage, copied that footage in unknown ways, presented that footage out of order, and destroyed the original."
But was this mere bravado, just the kind of posturing common in rap feuds, or something far more sinister? The masked man's claims remained unverified, and Young Ace had yet to address the allegations directly. Still, the timing was hard to ignore. As Foolio's family mourned and prosecutors built their case, the specter of Ace's possible involvement loomed large. The feud between Foolio and Ace had always gone beyond music. It was a proxy war between 2 factions, each with its own loyalists and blood-soaked history. Diss tracks weren't just songs, they were battle cries. But even in this violent world, the idea of a rapper placing a bounty on another's life was almost too shocking to believe.
The allegations implicate dozens of unidentified witnesses and alleged co-conspirators around the world, and some of the key witnesses to the supposed incidents are dead. Basically meaning, how can we defend against it? The defense is not even permitted to share the identities of the individuals described in the disclosure letter with Mr. Combs until April 18th, further hampering defense counsel's ability to investigate. Collectively, these new allegations require many months, if not years, to investigate, and if admitted, would require a series of mini-trials certain to double the length of a trial the government originally said would last 3 weeks. So this is an explosive allegation that on its face, I don't know if I necessarily disagree with. If they are bringing in evidence of uncharged conduct, wouldn't the defense have an opportunity to investigate it and challenge it? It seems like they're making a point. So if this evidence is allowed in, there is a chance this could delay the trial significantly. We all know Combs wants to go to trial, but how can he properly defend himself against this in just a few weeks?
The jury sits. Will they be shown these tapes?
100%.
Will they have to watch it in court? Like during the...
100% in court in front of a room of people. And so that's the other thing that's awful. They are going to be watching basically for hours on end in front of people. So in front of victim one, whoever it may be, they're going to be played in the federal courtroom.
And victim one would have been made aware of this.
Oh, 100%. She's probably being told right now, like, this is going to be played in open court. Your sex history, your sex life is going to be talked about in open court. All of this.
And presumably then she knows that and she's pushing forward because she hasn't withdrawn.
But don't forget this. It doesn't matter if she does or she doesn't. This isn't a civil case. This is the criminal case. So she could flat out tell the federal government, I don't want to participate, and they could say, we don't care. This is a crime. Crimes are against the United States, not against, they keep calling her victim one, but don't forget, she's a witness to a crime. So it doesn't matter if she went to them in today and said, I'm not participating. Their response, we don't care, get you.
Diddy's lawyers are desperately trying to get these tapes removed from the evidence. Diddy's attorneys are challenging the search warrants used to search his homes in Los Angeles and Miami, arguing that they were unconstitutional. They claim the warrant applications were illegal and everything that the Fed seized should...
As the investigation unfolded, chilling new details emerged. Surveillance footage showed two vehicles trailing Foolio's car as he left the nightclub, movements so synchronized they hinted at meticulous planning. Witnesses reported masked figures near the holiday and hours before the shooting, moving like shadows. Adding to the eerie atmosphere were Foolio's own lyrics, where he often called himself a demigod, untouchable, unstoppable. In one of his final Instagram posts, he wrote, I am a demigod. Now, those words felt tragically ironic and hauntingly prophetic. Jacksonville streets buzzed with rumors. Some believed Foolio's murder would spark inevitable retaliation. Others whispered of a deeper conspiracy, perhaps a shadowy power play within the rap world.
Trial.
Through it
Senior
all,
investigative
one
correspondent
question:
is back
if young
with the
Gene
story.
Ace
Good morning
truly
again,
had
Aaron.
And to you, Michael, you'll remember federal agents from Homeland Security investigations were hardly shy when they raided Sean Combs' opulent homes in Los Angeles and Miami, guns drawn. The jailed music mogul now argues those searches and other searches of his iCloud accounts, electronic devices, and New York City hotel room following his arrest were unconstitutional. His lawyers argue evidence obtained through those searches must be suppressed. Diddy's lawyers say the government presented a grossly distorted picture of reality when applying for the search warrants, omitting certain facts and including salacious details from an unnamed producer that were never credible. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, trafficking and prostitution charges. The defense is also arguing here his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was a willing participant in drug-fueled sex performances called freak-offs, not coerced as prosecutors allege. This latest challenge to his case comes 3 months before trial, and as Combs loses one of his attorneys, Anthony Rico says under no circumstances can he continue to represent Combs. He offered no details about that decision, Robin.
Okay.
This is what the jurors are there to decide. Jury selection is almost complete, and the jurors have confirmed that they're comfortable viewing Diddy's freak-off tapes. Diddy claims that the actions filmed in the freak-off tapes are all consensual and he didn't abuse anyone. This is what the jurors are there to decide. They're going to look at the footage and...
As the investigation unfolded, chilling new details emerged. Surveillance footage showed two vehicles trailing Foolio's car as he left the nightclub, movements so synchronized they hinted at meticulous planning. Witnesses reported masked figures near the holiday and hours before the shooting, moving like shadows. Adding to the eerie atmosphere were Foolio's own lyrics, where he often called himself a demigod, untouchable, unstoppable. In one of his final Instagram posts, he wrote, I am a demigod. Now, those words felt tragically ironic and hauntingly prophetic. Jacksonville streets buzzed with rumors. Some believed Foolio's murder would spark inevitable retaliation. Others whispered of a deeper conspiracy, perhaps a shadowy power play within the rap world. Through it all, one question loomed. If young Gene Ace truly had no hand in Foolio's death, why had he remained silent? Was it calculated, or the silence
that reveals
of someone
about
with
him
something
ahead
to
of opening
hide?
statements.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The fact that we are going to trial in under a year from when a defendant is arrested and indicted at the federal level doesn't happen. But Combs has been pushing towards this trial date. He doesn't want to spend one more day behind in federal lockup. Having said that, you're now at this case, and the government, this is the Southern District of New York, they don't move forward with the case unless they feel they have the goods. He's looking at not only life in prison, and the maximum charge, but potentially decades in prison. The third charge that he's facing, transportation to engage in prostitution, that can carry 10 years in prison, and some argue that's the most straightforward charge to actually convict him on. So I think he's feeling the weight of what's happening. Jury selection, a panel of his peers coming in to decide his fate. It is real right now for him.
Of course, they're all going to know who Sean Combs is, but they're going to need to find jurors who, despite the fact that they are familiar with Diddy, they still can be fair.
Prosecutors say Combs turned his significant business interests into a criminal enterprise to plan elaborate sex parties, including drug-fueled marathons where women were coerced into sex and then threatened if they didn't keep quiet. The jury pool filling out a 17-page questionnaire, answering questions about their impartiality amid warnings the evidence is graphic and sexually explicit.
The judge has drilled down on some of those questions that they answered in the questionnaire to see whether or not they had any issues to serving in this trial.
Joe Rogan has talked about Diddy multiple times in his podcast, and the reports he has heard line up with what people are saying about Diddy and what Cassie is claiming. Diddy would hire professionals to have sex with Cassie and was pimping Cassie out to other men too. According to Joe Rogan, all of this was because Diddy had been corrupted by extreme wealth and power.
There's so many horrific accusations involving young singers, young children.
As we peel back the layers of violence, betrayal, and ambition, one thing is certain. The story of Julio Foolio's death is far from over. The truth remains buried beneath secrecy and speculation. As prosecutors pursue the death penalty, one name keeps surfacing: Young Ace. Could the rapper who built his fame on diss tracks and street clout have orchestrated this killing? Or is this simply another bloody chapter in a feud that's already claimed too many lives? The answers remain elusive. But one thing is clear: this story is just beginning. And just when it seemed the case couldn't get more chaotic, Rashad Murphy shocked the courtroom. He fired his legal team. That's right. With his life on the line and capital punishment looming, Murphy chose to represent
all
himself.
Of this was because Diddy had been corrupted by extreme wealth and power.
But
there's so many horrific accusations involving young singers, young children.
Yeah, it's disgusting. He's insane. He makes R. Kelly look like a decent guy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It is crazy. And meanwhile, the guy was like hanging out with Oprah, hanging out with Obama.
Jay-Z,
everybody.
I'm sure the Clintons were there at some point.
Maybe Bill.
I mean, everybody hung with Diddy. That's the other tricky thing. Like, Diddy hung out with everybody. And I've spoken to a bunch of people who are like, yo, great dude, like, always there for you, never asked for a single thing.
Till 1 a.m.
And then freak off.
Everybody says, get out of the house.
Yeah.
It's like the gremlins start eating after midnight. Everybody who tells the stories like, I saw I go upstairs and these dudes are fucking like right on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I go in this room and these guys are fucking. And it's like,
and pros. Like, apparently he was getting male gigolos to fuck girls.
Girls.
Yeah, that was one of the rumors, like the freak off. So he would hire the professional dicks to have sex with the girls, and I think he would watch. Allegedly, that's what was alleged. I think. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, and that's the other thing. Like, I wonder, like, is that just a power thing?
It's a Caligula thing.
What does that mean?
Caligula, like the emperor. Did you ever see that movie, Caligula?
No.
It's about just Roman empires being completely out of control. Caligula is like almost like porn, and it was a movie made, I want to say in the 70s. It's a crazy movie. Wow. But it's just detailing extreme excess where you can never fill the hole.
But what is the hole you need to fill? Like, I'm trying to find, like, what's the
just
catalyst?
Chaos. What year was this? 79. Yeah. That's Malcolm McDowell, right? Yeah. Yeah, the dude from Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
It's a crazy movie, man. But it's still mild in comparison to what Absolute have. Absolute power corrupts. Caligula.
Okay, so then there's the question. It's like, can you take a completely normal person, give them power, and then they become that? Or does it take a power-hungry person that has this void that needs to be filled, and then when they are given that power, you see the worst version of them?
Ask your CIA boy. I bet he's got the answers. I bet he knows the exact formula.
This is the same thing that Diddy's alleged sex slave, Jonathan Auty, said back in 2018. In May of 2018, Jonathan Auty was arrested in connection to a shooting that occurred at Trump's National Doral Golf Course in Miami. During his interrogation, he said this.
Diddy and Ross, which they're good buddies, okay? They're gay.
Who?
Both. Diddy and Ross. And Khaled. They're all gay, okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Khaled is a Hamas supporter. Okay?
Who supporter?
Hamas.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said it wrong.
No worry.
Hamas supporter, okay? Right. I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate, tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot.
Hidden in plain sight.
It's in that.
I think I see what you're saying.
Okay, how do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
Do you know Sean Combs?
Once you start to connect the dots, it's clear that what Diddy was doing behind the scenes, he wasn't doing alone. Diddy had connections to some of the most powerful people in the industry, and everyone that went to his parties knew what was happening backstage.
I don't know. There's a lot going on. A lot of rumors are flying.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors. Yeah, I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
The thing is, like, we're getting the rumors from the internet, and the internet thinks that the Taliban took out that bridge in Baltimore. So it's like, who fucking knows? Who knows what's real?
That's what Diddy's lawyers, I think, said. It was like that. These are just trumped up charges. Not trumped up. I don't think they said that, but like bullshit charges.
Dude, when Homeland Security invade your house,
you got problems
with dudes with fucking guns and body armor. There's
someone said that they weren't there to take stuff; they were there to delete everything. Like the real people that were in there, you know.
Oh,
like
that's
the same
funny.
thing with Epstein.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
that's fun. Of course, there's layers upon layers. When you get into these fucking conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
It's fun to talk about.
It is fun to talk about. It's hard to know what's true, but wow, people genuinely love it when someone like Diddy gets caught, though. The glee that people have is weird.
Why?
Because he's too successful. Also, it's like there was always so much East Coast, West Coast that's still like in the zeitgeist. You know, like with Biggie and Tupac, and they were all hating at each other, and they both got killed, and there was a lot going on. And then there's people that thought that Puffy was involved and Suge Knight was involved.
Allegedly, other A-list celebrities who were victims of Diddy and his ring of sexual predators are preparing to speak out. Jamie Foxx has reportedly gone on
The evidence against Rashad Murphy is staggering. Surveillance allegedly places him at the scene. GPS data matches a suspect's movements, and prosecutors say witnesses are ready to testify he was one of the shooters. Yet by firing his lawyers, Murphy isn't just risking his freedom, he's risking his life. The courtroom is a minefield without experienced counsel, and every misstep could seal his fate. But his bold move raises questions. Does Murphy have something explosive to reveal? Could this trial uncover secrets that go far beyond his own case? For now, the tension builds. This promises to be a courtroom drama for the ages. But Murphy isn't the only suspect raising eyebrows. Enter Alicia Andrews, a name whispered since her arrest. While Murphy's trial plays out publicly, Andrews' story has been quieter but just as gripping. Pregnant at the time of her arrest, some view her as a pawn trapped in a dangerous world. Yet the evidence suggests otherwise. Surveillance allegedly shows her acting as lookout, while text messages hint she was tracking Foolio's every move for the attackers. Was she coerced, a willing accomplice, or is the truth somewhere in between?
The
The answers
57-year-old
remain
takes
to
to
be seen.
Instagram on December 14th to address the situation and thank fans for their support. Jamie first shares a simple message on his feed that reads, "The devil is busy, but I'm too blessed to be stressed." He then writes in the caption of the post, "The devil is a lie. Can't win here. Thank you to everybody that pray and check on me. When your light is shining bright, they try to bring you darkness, but they don't know that you're built for it. The lights have been shining bright." On December 13th, the Ray actor was celebrating turning 57 with his family at a restaurant in Beverly Hills when things reportedly took a turn. A rep for the actor told NBC News at the time, Jamie Foxx was at his birthday dinner when someone from another table threw a glass that hit him in the mouth. He had to get stitches and is recovering. The police were called and the matter is now in law enforcement.
The timing of Andrew's arrest only deepens the intrigue. Just weeks before she was taken into custody, she posted cryptic social media messages, hinting at guilt, remorse, or fear of retribution. Followers noticed sudden changes, deleted photos, distancing from old associates. Was she trying to cover her tracks? Or did she sense the law, or something more dangerous, was closing in? Andrew's case is as much a psychological puzzle as it is a legal one. A stark reminder that in this feud, even those on the edges aren't safe from the fallout. And if that wasn't enough, internal conflicts have added even more fuel. Court documents reveal Andrew's lawyers suddenly withdrew from her case, sparking fresh speculation.
It's just
Is she
amazing
thinking
how many
of
people in the Diddy
cooperating with
party list that are
prosecutors?
supporting Kamala.
Could she be the key to unraveling this entire conspiracy?
all
Or is
in.
she simply another player?
It's
in
like
it?
J-Lo,
Game spinning
like,
out of control.
was like his
One thing is certain: Andrews
And
is
it's
a
like,
wild card.
Not
and
to
her
say
next
she's like
move could
warning
change
people
everything.
against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion. Like if she's gonna be warning people, why does she never warn anyone about Diddy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The whole thing is so strange to watch play out. It seems like the Diddy thing was like an Epstein type compromise deal, where whether he was doing it himself. Conceivably, people want to think that he's attached to some intelligence agency or something like that. I think he's a gangster who made $1 billion and knew how to control people by compromising them. That's what I think. Whether or not he had help, I don't know. Whether or not he shared some of that information with people so they knew they had compromising stuff on people, I don't know. But clearly he was doing it for his own jollies too. There was something sick about it.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is that people in the music and entertainment industry had to know that Diddy was like, kids basically. And yet they still fed him kids. And like, where's the accountability?
There had to be rumors. There had to be. They
had to know.
Yeah.
They had to know.
Cat Williams was talking about it on.
Exactly.
Yeah, on that podcast.
But like who's feeding him the kids?
Right. Yeah, and what videos do they have of these people where they're willing to defend him? And they're willing to keep quiet about all this. Like how many people were compromised?
Yeah.
The whole thing is fucking crazy.
Right.
As the trials inch closer, the tension is thick, but to grasp the full weight of this case, you have to zoom out. The KTA versus ATK feud has turned Jacksonville into a battlefield. Foolio's death wasn't random. It was the latest chapter in a war fueled by loss, revenge, and street honor. Foolio lived at the heart of it. His music was his weapon, mocking rivals, taunting enemies, thriving in the chaos. He survived multiple attempts on his life, each more brazen than the last. But in the end, the streets he rapped about finally claimed him. And then there's the masked man's viral confession that Young Gene Ace allegedly placed a bounty on Foolio. True or not, the claim has only deepened the mystery. Online forums are ablaze. Fans dissecting lyrics, Instagram captions, even the timing of Ace's music releases. Coincidence or coded messages? While Ace denies involvement, his silence on the bounty claim only fuels speculation. Could this feud be more than street politics? A carefully orchestrated game with players pulling strings from the shadows?